hello, 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 hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Please wait your friend another 5 minutes. Just only 20 of you joined this meeting, okay?
Yes, sir.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, teacher. Hello, teacher.
Okay, very good then. Okay, we should start now then. Let me share you my screens. I think last time we already finished with the David Ricardo model, right? Am I right? Hello. Let me share you here the screens. I think last time we have finished with the David Ricardo already. Here, you see that? The Ricardo model, which I introduced to you, I don't know, maybe the last couple of weeks ago, about the international trade theory, and we all learned with this already, as I remember correctly. Okay, so for today's sessions, we are going to look at the standard models. Okay, yeah, here it is. That is the standard models of the international trade. Okay. Just ask you to scan through this slide for a couple of minutes, and then we can get through together. Okay, maybe around 10 minutes. Hello.
Yes, teacher.
Have you scanned through, or have you gone through the material already or not yet? Okay. I give you 10 minutes to scan through the materials about the standard trade models, and then we will be together for this module, okay? Yeah, just try to understand what is the concept behind the standard trade model, okay? Yeah. Okay, so please take your time around 10 minutes to scan through this. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yes, lecturer.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, lecturer.
Okay, very
Hello,
good.
yes.
Thanks. So, okay, let's go together then. It's almost 10 minutes. So we are go to the new module about the trade series. You have learned with the David Ricardo trade series already. So now we move to the standard trade models. Okay. So before we start with the standard trade models, people are used to learn with the indifferent curve. I don't know whether you have learned this in the microeconomics course. Hello, have you learned this already or not yet? Hello,
Not yet, sir.
really? Okay. Okay, so this one is your homework then. Try to understand about the indifferent curve, and then I will send you the homework in the Microsoft Teams. And then what you are going to discover, you need to understand what is indifferent curve and what is the properties of indifferent curve. Okay, try to explain it to me just within one page only. Okay, that is your another homework for your water festivals holidays. Just try to figure out what is the indifferent curve meanings and what is the properties inside the indifferent curve. Okay, and why do we need to look at the indifferent curve. Okay, so this one is your homework. I will assign you when we finish our sessions today. So we start with this. That is the marginal rate of substitutions. Marginal rate of substitution, MRS, first as more of good is consumed. I think you already see this. Okay. The marginal rate of substitution is the amount of one commodity that must be given up as one gain additional unit for another commodity. For example, like this. If you look at it very carefully, you will see if you decided to use this amount of Y, you can use this amount of X. This one, if you use this amount of Y, you can use only this amount of X here. Okay. However, if you decided to reduce or to cut down the consumption of Y, you can increase the consumption of X here. Okay. So this is the meaning of the marginal rate of substitution here. Okay. Why we need to increase one and decrease another one? Because you need to remember that your resources is still under the limited, okay, limited resources, so you cannot consume everything as you wished. Okay, so that's the meaning of these sentences that you have learned here. Okay, but the indifferent curve is not yet finished here because I suppose you already learned this since the microeconomic course. Okay. So just try to learn from this further, okay, by doing your homework, okay. So that is the consumer equilibrium. This is your budget constraint. I think you already know about the budget constraints. Budget constraint, this is, or sometimes people call it the budget line. The budget line, that is the maximum budget that you can allocate for your consumptions. Okay. Suppose that there is no saving for you, or already, or another sense, you can consider that your budget line is already deducted the saving rate that you are blessed with the financial institutions. Okay. So when you would like to understand the consumer equilibrium, this is your indifferent curve, which measures the utility in terms of consuming both goods. Okay, and the higher the indifferent curve here, the higher utility that you are going to receive. However, you cannot afford this. Okay, you cannot afford at this point because you have your limited budget. That's why the equilibrium occur where this one is the time change. where the budget constraint is the tangent of your endorphin curve here. Okay, so this one is the tangent line. Khmerគេហៅតង់សងបន្ទាត់តង់សង okay, the tangent line here, and then this point is the equilibrium of consumer, that is the marginal utilities of good X over the marginal utility of good Y. Okay, that is the relative marginal utilities. It's equal to the price of good X and the price over the price of good Y. Okay, this is the marginal utility. This is for your endorphin curve, and this is for your budget line. Okay, so you also need to learn about the production possibility frontier in this sense. I think this one you already learned, correct? For the production possibility frontiers. Have you already learned with this?
We have learned that, sir.
Okay, very good, thanks. This one is the production possibility frontiers. Okay, it refers to the production line or the production curve that one country can allocate their resources in terms of producing two goods. This one is good Y, this one is good X. We suppose that there's only two goods in the market or in the economy. So there are three main property in terms of production possibility frontiers. The first property is the line, is the point inside the curve here. For example, these points. Sorry, that should be crossover. Or this point, or the point inside the curve here, that is called efficient points. Sorry, inefficient point, not efficient, inefficient. Yep, inefficient point meaning to say that you still have the resources in order to produce these two goods, but you cannot manage it well. And the second property is the point along the curve here. The point along the curve here refers to the efficient point. Efficient point meaning to say that a country or the economy already allocated all the resources for producing these two goods. And for the third property is outside the line here. Okay, outside the line here we call this one as the unattainable points. Unattainable point meaning to say that within your economy resources you could not reach to this point because you had a limited resources. Okay, so these are the three properties of the production possibility frontiers. So the government or the economy or the country try to manage to produce it along the curve here. That's why you can see here it plus A, B, C, D here. You see the concept here. So what's the meaning of A, B, C, D here? Meaning to say that if you realize that you really good at good wide, producing good wide, you will spend a lot of resources in terms of producing good Y from 0 until Y4. See that? And then you have only small resources in terms of producing good X here. Okay, that's why you can produce from 0s to X1. And if you realize this, there's also a sense of reusing this. If you would like to increase the numbers of good egg produced, you need to reduce the numbers of good Y that you produce, moving from Y4 to Y3. See that? And then increasing from X1 to X2 and so on and so forth. How can this happen? That is because of the marginal rate of transformations. The marginal rate of transformation increases as more units of good X are produced. You need to remember that in order to produce particular goods or services, we need the input, right? And the inputs that we use, it can be substituted or it can be replaced. I can give you one example in terms of the marginal rate of transformation here. For example, I have a hectare of land, and then I have 100 people, sorry, let's say 5 people working on the land in order to produce 5 tons of rice per year. Am I too fast? Hello?
No, sir. Slow and steady.
Okay, very good, thanks. I'm trying to explain you the marginal rate of transformation here, okay? And then I give you one example of having 1 hectare of land and having 5 labor working on the land in order to produce 5 tons of rice per year. So how can we understand that it's the marginal rate of transformations? I need to input, right, labor and land in order to produce my rice. So I can do like this. I can use 1 hectare of land and 5 labor, okay? Or in the other sense, I don't want to use 1 hectare of land. I can use smaller hectare of land, but I need to increase the numbers of labor in order to remain my yield in the in the same in the same amount or in the same output. Okay, that is the example. Or you might be look at this example quite easier for you. For example, we have the tractors and labor. Okay, working on your land. You need to have 2 tractors and 5 people in order to produce 5 tons of rice per hectare. So if you would like to remain to keep 5 tons per hectare per year, you can use either 2 tractors or 1 tractor. If you use 1 tractor, you need to increase the numbers of labor. If you use 3 tractors, you need to cut down the numbers of labor in order to remain your output the same. Okay. So in the end, sorry, at the end of the day, the rate of substitution here, we substitute in terms of the input in order to produce the 2 products. Similar thing to this. See that? So this one has been illustrated to you already. So when you increase, the marginal rate of substitution increases as more units of good egg that you are producing. See that? Why? Because you see that amount the same. For example, this one you reduce very small and they become higher and higher. Okay. So the marginal rate of substitution is another name for the opportunity cost. See that the same things. You need to give up one thing in order to produce the other things by using your inputs. And then the value of the marginal rate of transformation is given by the slope of the PPF. The slope is like this. You know the slope? Yeah. That is from this to this. That is from this to this. And this one from this to this. You see that? The difference here is this. This one you give up just only this amount, but for the second one you give up a little bit higher, and the third one a little bit higher. And if you move another unit 5 here, you will give up a little bit higher for good wise. So that is called the marginal rate of transformation. Okay. So far so good. Hello. So far so good.
Yeah, yeah, so far so good.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how many people with me, but I hope it's okay then. Okay, and then this one already discussed to you the production possibility frontiers. That you just plus it with the budget line that you have. Okay. So we have the production possibility frontiers, and then this one is the producer equilibrium autarky. Autarky meaning to say that is the equilibrium in the initial stage. Initial stage meaning you do not have the trade involvement yet. You just happen. It just happened in your society or in your country without trade. So let's look at this. Producer will choose to produce where the relative cost of producing one more unit of X is just equal to the relative price at which the producer can sell a unit of X. See that? Again, producer will choose to produce where the relative cost of producing, this is the relative cost, okay, relative price. Relative cost of producing one more unit of X is just equal to the relative price at which the producers can sell a unit of X. See that? So at point E, that is the marginal cost of good X over the marginal cost of good Y equal to the equal to the price of good X over the price of good Y. Okay. This one we suppose that the market is in the competitive market. meaning to say that this one also equal to the same, the price equals to marginal revenue. So this one at point E here, this one equal, that is the cost, okay? Cost of producing good X, you relative to good Y, and this one just equal to the price of this one, relative price of good X to good Y, okay? So that is the equilibrium in the autarky. Again, let's look at this. This is your production functions, and that is your relative price. If you ask me where you can produce it, you still produce it where here, okay? So what happens? This is the indifferent code that you have learned so far, indifferent code CI0, this one CI1. So this one is the general equilibrium autarky. This is your production function, and this is your relative price. And then you will consume. The country will consume where this one going to be closed. Okay. So in autarky, the general equilibrium is where the marginal cost, the relative marginal cost, equal to the relative price and equals to the relative marginal utilities. Okay. Here again, don't forget, the indifferent curve here represents the marginal utility, relative marginal utility in terms of good X and good Y. And the budget line here, so we also represent the price, relative price, okay, between good X and good Y. And the production function here also represents the marginal cost of producing good X and good Y, okay? So the equilibrium will be missing here, okay? The general equilibrium autarky. There's no trade anymore, it just happened inside the society, okay? What happened next? If you look at the trade in the standard model, if you look at the trade in the standard model, there is the comparative advantage.
Excuse me,
Yep.
what does MC denote for again? MC. Yeah.
Can you come again, please?
MCX multiplied by MCY. What does MC denote?
MC means marginal cost, okay? Hi, David. MC means marginal cost. P mean price, and U mean marginal utilities. Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Very. Thank you, Dennis. So if you look at the trade in the standard model, how can we do? How can we work with this? If you come at the comparative advantage nations to in X will lead to it to produce in Y. Sorry, it produce more X. I'm sorry. Yeah. If you realize that you have a comparative advantage of X in code X, will lead you to produce this. Why like this? Nation 1 and Nation 2, they are not similar. And Nation 1 must have a comparative advantage in Y. It will produce more. It will produce more. It will produce more good white once it begins to specialize trade. Do you understand the sense? Okay, I don't know whether you fully understand this. This one, that is the equilibrium, right? That is equilibrium in the autarky, right? Meaning to say that the country or the nation one will produce and consume at this point, point E. Okay? And then for nation 2, they will produce and consume at this point, okay? Point E2, okay? This one also point E. The equilibrium, general equilibrium in autarky. Okay, so if you look at the production possibility from T and then the decision of the country producing at this one, meaning to say that they allocate a lot. For nation 2, they allocate a lot in terms of producing what good X, and this one is good Y here, this amount, and this one is good Y here, and then this one is good X. Okay, and then you just try to figure out if you increase one numbers of good X, how much good Y that you are going to use. The more you increase, the lower that's a good Y that you are going to give out. Does it make sense to you? How can I make it a little bit clear?
Yeah, could you explain that again?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it clear for you. Okay, let me show you again first. How can I see this? Okay, let's look at this production possibility frontier first. If you are producing, if the country decided to produce at point A, meaning this country allocate a lot into producing good Y, right? And then producing very small with good X. But if the country has the productions outputs here, meaning to say that they produce small good Y, and then they produce a lot of good X. Okay, see that? This one is it clear for you?
Yes, teacher. Teacher, can you move to slide number 7 again, teacher?
Yeah, wait first. Okay, I erase this first. Okay. For 7, okay, this one, yeah. Yeah, main, is that you? I think that should be you.
Yeah, yes, teacher. Teacher, so what is the curve above? Like, so we have two curve here, teacher. Like, what is the curve that below cho ground, teacher?
This one is the production possibility frontiers. This one is the indifferent curve, or you can call this one as the consumption, because this one utilities, and this one the budget lines that a country can produce it. Okay.
So, teacher, so then it meets the new equilibrium, right, teacher?
This one is in the autarky. There is no changing the equilibrium yet. Okay.
So, teacher, the curve above is the utility cost, right?
The curve above, yes, that is the utility. You are right. Indifferent curve represent the utility of consuming both node. Okay.
Teacher,
And the
the
possibility.
utility curve here, like, what does it really mean, teacher?
Sorry.
About the utility, like the curve that the curve about the utility, like what does it define in this example,
This one.
teacher?
This one.
No, teacher, the
This one.
curve. Yes, that one.
This one indifferent curve. Okay. Indifferent curve represent the utility of the consumer. Make it. Is it clear? This one is called indifferent curve. Okay. Indifferent curve here we measure the nature of indifferent curve is the measurement of the utility of consuming both goods. Okay. Good X and good Y. While the production possibility frontiers measure the course of the productions within these two products, good X and good Y. And this one is the budget that you have. Okay. Here, let's look at this one, okay? I think this one also linked to this one. Let's look at this again. This one we have nation 1 and nation 2, okay? Here, okay? Here, you see that? You see this one? This one, we realize that the comparative advantage of nations 2 in X will lead that to produce more of X. While in nation 1 here, we realize that they have the comparative advantage in terms of producing good wine, so they will more specialization in terms of producing good wine. Let's look at this. I think this one will explain you further about that. Okay. This one is nation 1. Okay, nation 1 and nation 2, like I discussed to you. Okay. This one is the production possibility frontiers, and this one is the budget line. This one is the consumption or indifferent curve, or you can call this utility. These represent the consumption. This one also the same. So the movement of the production and trade will move the production from point A to point B in both countries. See that first, this country we produce this, right? Nation 1 we produce the general equilibrium and autarky here. And for nation 2, they will produce here, okay? And then when they realize that, what they do, they will change, they will reallocate. If they open to trade, they will reallocate their resources in terms of producing these two goods. Since nation A realized that they have, nation 1, they realized that they have here comparative with nation 2 in X, will lead to produce in X more, okay? Yeah, they will change to point B. Nation 2 will produce moving from this to this point, okay? So the wheels producing at this point, okay? Where country A not producing at nation 1 not producing at point A here, but it will produce at point B here, okay? They reallocate this. So let me graph it for you. First, they produce at this, that is the orange ones. Here, okay? And then they change. Because they can produce, both nations can produce wherever along the curved production possibility frontier here, because they are the effective, efficient points. So they will change to this. They will shift their productions function production here to this one, okay? Similar thing for nation B, so nation 2, they will change to B2, come to here, and then in the autarky they produce at this point.
Teacher, can you also explain the budget line, teacher?
The budget line?
Yes, teacher. Seems like the previous slide we can see the budget line. Also, does it change, teacher?
The budget line can be also vary, vary meaning to select this. Let me see, check for you.
So, teacher, the budget line here means the resource, the outcome, or the expectation, teacher. Like, what does it mean here?
We move back to this one. Here, budget constraints. We need to select this. Let me draw it for you. Okay. I can have this. Okay. Budget line. I can have this amount producing by using my course, or I can reallocate it like this. I cut down the numbers of producing this one, but I can increase this one, right? So a little bit stepper, right? I also can vary my budget line like this. A little bit stepper than this. Meaning to say that I have my resources because your budget line is equal y equals to, I suppose that this one y, this one is x, okay? Rx plus, there should be minus. Negative one, there should be minus here, plus b. Okay. Oops, cannot write it. Yeah. Meaning to say that it's depend on my, how can I say this? It's depend on my allocation in terms of my budget, okay? For example, I have $100 US, okay? And then I would like to reallocate for my $100 in terms of producing two gold, okay? If I spend on my $100 for producing good A, I won't have any money for producing good B, right? But if I spend my $100 producing good B, I cannot producing good A anymore because I don't have any resources. Or I can have the other sources. I can have 200. We also need to understand the price of the good too. But I suppose that price is 1 for good A can also good 1 for good 2. Okay, yeah. So maybe 60, 40. 30, 70, 10 or 90. So the budget line can be varied like this. That's why you have seen in this slide it can be stepper or flatters. It depends on the willingness of the country that they would like to produce that. Am I right? Is that clear for this? I mean,
teacher, that is clear about the budget, teacher. But for one last time, I want you to can you explain again about the differences or the difference between the indifference curve and PPF, teacher? Like it's kind of confusing.
Indifferent curve and
PPF line, teacher. PPF curve. The product.
PPF curve are not the same. They are not the same. Indifferent curve, that is referred to a curve which is measure the utilities of the consumption of both goods. Okay. While the production possibility frontiers, they are not measuring the utilities. They are just telling you the maximum amounts that the country or the nations can reallocate their resources in terms of producing two goods. Is that clear?
Yes, teacher. Thank you, teacher.
They are not the same. Don't confuse yourself. One, we need to measure the utility by using the indifferent curve. Okay. While you are measuring the productions, you're measuring the allocation of the allocation of the resources for your productions. You need to use the PPI, the production possibility frontiers, and then and then there is the general equilibrium. Okay, like you have seen in this graph already. This one I think is very clear already. Yeah? This one they just produce a little good Y and a lot of good X. Nation 1. While Nation 2, you can see this one, they produce a lot of good Y while little bit good X. See that? And then they realize they have the comparative advantage of producing both goods. So they will reallocate, they will change they will reallocate their resources, moving from point A to point B for Nation 1, and then for Nation 2, they will be moving from point A to point B2, meaning to say that this one they will reallocate more in terms of producing good X, cut down or reduce the numbers of good Y producing, while this one will increase the numbers of good Y producing and cut down the numbers of good X producing. Okay. And then after that, you will see that is this from this one to this one. This is the consumptions. There is a different curve. And this one also comes to here. Meaning to say that when you decide to produce this, that is your indifferent curve consumption is in this area. And then for this one also, when you decided to produce this amount of good X and this amount of Y, your consumption is going to be here. Okay. Here, you need to look at this also, okay? That is the consumer equilibriums. They will consume where this one gonna cross together. This is the consumer indifferent curve 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and then they meet here. This is the equilibrium, like this ones. They come to here, okay? So when you realize this, before they can produce and consume at this point only. Similar thing for Nation 2, they can produce and consume at this point only, but now they can produce higher. See that they can consume, they can consume higher while they are producing at this point. Actually, the resources they have is still the same, so they just reallocate the resources of these two products, and then they realized, and then they do the trade, don't forget that, and then they realize the more enjoyment in terms of consumption in their country. I don't know whether this makes sense.
Yes, teacher. Teacher, it's understandable now, teacher.
Okay, very good then. How about the others? So far, so good. Hello. I don't know whether you all being with me. Hello.
Teacher, so far so good.
Sorry. So far, so good, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can continue then if there's no further clarification you need from me. And then what happened next? This is the term of trade, learn. So the relative price of X and Y determine the term of trade in the two countries. Relative price of X and Y will determine, because relative price here it represents your budget line, okay, in terms of your consumptions. And then the term of trade is the ratio, sorry, is the ratio of indexed. Ratio of the index price of a nation's exports, okay, of a nation's exports to the index of price of its import. For example, here we can see already for nation 1 in the previous example, we have PY over PX was the term of trade, but nations 2, we have the previous example that you have learned that is PX over PY was in term of trade. Okay, that is a term of trade. So an improvements in a country term of trade are typically viewed as beneficial. Okay, so an improvement in the term of trade indicates that fewer export goods will need to be provided to purchase the same numbers of imported goods. Quite simple. I think if you look at to the natures of exportation and importation are sort of the same. For example, I don't know how I can draw this for you. I think I have another slide. Give me a second. Give me a second. I share you another slide that explain you how the trade happens. Give me a second. I'm trying to find this for you. I don't have in English. Okay, here in English. Let me show you only one slide, and then I think it should explain you also something. Okay, this one only for one products, but I think it's also explain you something. Okay, this one will determine why we need to have a trade. Okay, let me see you do slide here. Okay, let's see this. Can you see my slide?
Yes, teacher.
Very good then. Here we go. Okay, it start from this one. Okay, it start from this one. That is the concept of reason why we need for cooperation in trade. Okay, and this is the reason. Suppose that we have the geographical representation here, and then we have the alcohol market, and we have two market here. We have market B and market S here. Okay. And that is the price of alcohol, and this is the quantity that people consume, the quantity of alcohols. Okay, and this one also the same. This one is in the B market, and this one is in the S market. Okay, I don't know, maybe this one is in Brazil, this one is in South Korea, for example, and the price of the alcohol here is a little bit higher compared to the price of the alcohol domestically when they do not have the trade together. Okay, this one understandable, right? And then if they realize this one happens, in the if the trade already realized, and then what they are going to do, they're going to join it together, meaning to say they're going to cooperate together. That is the international trade game. See that? This is the market B for alcohol, and that is the S market for alcohol also. What happened is that the weight shift because this one is priced higher, right? This one is priced lower. So this market B will be the imported country, while the market S here gonna be the exported country. Because the price lower when you open to trade, the supplier of this market will bring the alcohol to this market, right? And then you already realize the law of demand and law of supply, right? And then it will become lower like this. And then this is the domestic ones. And then within this, it construct the market for alcohol in the international markets. I think you look at it, you will see. And after that, it will come like this. See that? So at the end of the day, the international market equilibrium for alcohol will become $1 because this one will export to this country or this market, and this market will import from this market, and then the numbers of alcohol in this country gonna be higher, and then the price gonna be going down. While this one, when you export to this country, meaning to say that you will have or you will face the shortage of the alcohol for your domestic consumption, and then the price will goes up. Okay, and at the end of the day, it will meet the equilibrium here. Okay, and then this is the international market here, international market right here for the alcohol. And this one is just a little bit further analysis in terms of gains, gain and loss in terms of these alcohols markets. Okay, but I don't want to go further for you in this analysis. We will discuss this when we come to the trade policy. Okay, but what I really want you to understand right now is the concept of doing trade like this. Okay, here you already realize your competitive advantage, so you just reallocate your productions. Okay, you just reallocate your productions inside your country or inside your nations, and then you realize the higher consumption that your nation gonna be realized. So it's a good idea to do that, right? You still use your existing resources. You just change from point A to point B. At the beginning, you produce a lot of X, and then you produce very little Y. And then you change it. You produce a lot of Y, and then you produce very little X. In contrast, for nation two, at the beginning, you produce very little in terms of goods. And let's say you produce very little in terms of good white, and then a lot of good X, and that is the same for this one. You produce a lot of good X and then very little of good white, and then you realize the consumption gain. Okay, so ideally, that's a good idea to do so. I may give you around another 5 minutes. If you have any questions, just please let me know. Okay, just get through this slide again, and then if you have any question, let me know. Okay. Hello, hello everyone. I know this session I'm a little bit fast for you all, but I just want you to learn these materials. So okay. So can you just spend another 5 minutes by your own or to scan through again with this material? And if you have any question, just please let me know. Okay. Hello.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thanks. Okay, hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, teacher. Hello.
Okay, everything all right? Is everything all right? All right. I think we still have several more modules to be, several more modules to go for the series. There's two more to go for the threat series, and then we're gonna come to the threat policy from modules 11 until module 16. Okay. Yeah. So there will be more, a long way to go, but it's all right. We still have enough times for doing this, I believe. Okay. Yeah. Today seem a little bit quiet from Dahlia. Is everything all right? Hello, she's not joining today.
Everything's okay, sir.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious whether Dahlia's not joining today. Okay, anyway, yeah, I just opened the bracket a little bit for Kim Sur. You need to contact to Mr. Kim Tiyok, no, Munti, okay? Because I haven't seen your response yet, so don't forget to contact to Mr. Munti for your cast, okay?
Hello, teacher.
Yes.
Uh, uh, Regarding this, I have talked with lecturer Nielsen that already lecture.
Okay, okay, that sounds good then. It's all right. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Just text me what is what was his decision, okay, and then I can arrange for that too, because
Uh,
I have contacted to Mr. Munti, and then he asked me to talk to you about that. Okay, yeah, it's all right.
lecturer NC said that I am permitted to take the exams early, lecturer.
Okay, it's all right then. It's okay. I'll design it for you then. Okay, okay. Okay, if you don't have any further concerns, can we just have a little bit early break for today, and then we can start also a little bit early by 7:20 for our second session. For our second session, I'm planning to walk you through the textbook also for this chapter again, because I feel that you all might not be so familiar with these things. So I will walk you through the textbook for the second session for the standard model, okay? But like I discussed to you, what you need to take into your very serious considerations are the indifferent curve concept, production possibility frontier concept, and also the budget constraint concept, okay? If you understand those kind of things, it will be easier for you to catch up what is the standard model theory would like to tell you, okay? So that is my plan for our second session for today. And then I don't know, maybe the second session a little bit boring because I will walk you through the materials for the textbook, but it to me I feel it is very significant since I noticed that some of you might not so well understood about the concept. Okay. So right, we can walk through together, and then I try to explain you further, and then we can check together for the second session. Okay. Let me tell you also one more thing. I plan to have the midterm test after Water Festival. Okay. I will notify to you the clear dates later. Okay, but just be aware in advance. The midterm test for the international trade course might appear or might happen after the water festivals, maybe during the late November or the beginning of December. Okay, so be ready for that. Okay. Okay. this one is just notifies to you and then just let you be well prepared for that. Okay, I think we can have a small break and then we can resume our class by 7:20 to 7:25. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Lecturer,
Yep.
will we have a review sessions for the midterm?
I don't think so. For me, I don't have a review session for the midterm for both international trade course and the regional economies. Okay, but for the final exam, yes, we are going to have it.
See. So,
Okay.
will you send us the exam clarification, like what we should focus on?
Okay, I will try to make it very clear for you. Maybe today's session, yeah, maybe the second session for today, or maybe the 22nd of November. Okay, so let me make it clear for you by the 22nd of November. Okay, for the midterm test. Okay.
Yes, lecturer.
Okay.
Yes.
And the midterm test date, it could be on 29th of November or the 6th of December. Okay. Yep.
Yes,
So be
lecturer.
ready.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Very good. Thanks. Okay. So enjoy your break for a short moment, and then we will walk through the lessons together after this. Okay. Thank you. Have a good rest. A little bit. See you soon. Okay. See you soon. Okay, I end our meeting now, okay? And then it's okay. See you soon.